Newsfirst, Newsline with Faraz Shaukat Ali.
A very good morning and welcome. This is Newsline. No, I am not Faraz Shaukat Ali. I am Ramesh Irugalbandara, standing in for Faraz Shaukat Ali over the next couple of days. Well, the political situation in the country is heating up as the countdown nears for the no confidence motion against the Prime Minister. The vote on the no confidence motion is set for 9:30 p.m. on the 4th of April. We've heard the views of various parties, from the United National Party to the SLFP in the ruling party to the members of the joint opposition on what their views are. When you consider politics in Sri Lanka, the three parties that are synonymous with Sri Lankan politics in the south is the SLFP, the UNP and the JVP. So this morning we invited the JVP to appear on the program to get their views on what will happen during this no confidence motion. So join me in welcoming Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa, JVP parliamentarian. Good morning and welcome to the show, Dr. Jayatissa.
Good morning.
Right, let's get right into the question. Yes. What will the JVP do when the vote is taken up against the Prime Minister?
Just the joint opposition submitted the no confidence motion to the Speaker. We announced our decision directly by a media briefing that we definitely vote against the Prime Minister, because the allegations made by the joint opposition in this no confidence motion, there are 14 issues. Out of 14, 13 based on the central bank bond scam. You know, 2015 March 2nd, JVP is the first party revealed this bond scam as a political party, and we made a statement and we directly questioned the Prime Minister in the Parliament, and the COP committee chaired by our MP Sunil Handunnetti, we made a full investigation as well. We submitted a report in October 2016. So since the beginning we involved to investigate and reveal all informations and to reveal all the wrongdoers of this bond scam. So we don't have any doubt to support this no confidence motion based on this bond scam. But as a party, if we submit that no confidence motion, there are major three issues to raise against the Prime Minister.
What are these three issues that you will change in this no confidence motion?
Not change, we are going to add in the debate, because by the tradition of the Parliament, in such like of this no confidence motion, either we have to vote for the motion or the against, or we can abstain. But during the debate, we are going to emphasize the other issues, like the protection of the wrongdoers of the Rajapaksa regime. First thing, this is the very strong allegation is making by the general public, especially the 6.2 million.
And this was one of their promises when they came into government.
Major promise. Second issue is the other corruptions in the current government, corruptions of current government in Central Highway and dealing with the Sri Lanka airline, so on. The third issue is selling of national property as Hambantota Harbour and the Colombo Eastern Terminal, like that. So these are the three major issues we are going to raise, in addition to the bond scam as well as the inefficient actions taken by the Prime Minister during the Digan incident.
Okay. Now, we've earlier on the Newsfirst, we've spoken about the inaction of the government when it comes to fulfilling their promises and a number of other things. Now, most of these.
But anyway, we know that joint opposition definitely do not put the first and second allegation to the no confidence motion, protection of the wrongdoers of Rajapaksa regime and selling of national property.
So has the joint opposition brought in this no confidence motion as a political ploy, or because they actually love the people of this country?
This is political game, because if they love the people means not only the individuals, the property, the people's tax, the everything. So how can we say that those who bribe or who steal the
money of
the people, or tax, they don't love the people, but they have very strong ambition to get the power very soon too, not to develop the country or not to make the democracy to the country, but to hide the allegations. Otherwise they know very well that this is very huge extent of corruption and wastage of tax. So definitely they will go to the prison. They should go to the prison.
We will get to that in a bit, but before that I want to ask you, in your opinion, do you think the Prime Minister should resign before the no confidence motion vote so that this government can continue?
That depends on the political culture and the tradition of a person. I mean, if a developed country or this the country with the established democracy or the political culture, he may resign. But here we can't expect that.
So it's highly unlikely, that's what you're saying?
Yes.
Right. Now, hypothetically, if the Prime Minister wins this no confidence motion vote, what will happen to the government? Because the SLFP on Friday, they came out and said, we don't have an option but to support this motion. That means vote against the Prime Minister. If the SLFP votes against the Prime Minister and the Prime Minister still wins the no confidence motion, what will happen to this government?
According to informations, there's significant division inside the Sri Lanka Freedom Party headed by the President. So we don't know this, either one of the group will support the Prime Minister.
Okay.
Anyway, the political instability is still going on. Otherwise, the no confidence motion win or lose by the Prime Minister. The political instability and the economic crisis will not settle. It will continue, and it will strongly affect the foreign direct investment as well as the businesses in the country. So people has to get this burden.
Now, another hypothetical question. If the Prime Minister does decide to resign and the United National Party, together with the current members of this government, put forward another member from the UNP to serve as the Prime Minister of this Parliament, he will also need to show support within Parliament to ensure that the government continues. If the correct person is put forward, do you think the JVP will back him when it comes time for that?
No, we will decide after no confidence motion anyway, but we don't trust a person instead of Ranil Wickremesinghe, because everyone, so from either UNP or SLFP, they follow the same economic policy and principle. The scenario we are experiencing now in the country, the result of not a person, but we think that it's a problem of the policy.
Okay.
So we need a policy change, not a personal change. It may affect nothing.
So you are saying that the country needs a policy change?
Yes.
Right. Another hypothetical scenario where the Prime Minister wins the no confidence motion, SLFP walks out of government, and the UNP needs seats in Parliament to maintain the government.
Yes.
They invite you, they invite the JVP as a party to join the UNP and go forward. Do you think it will be a viable option?
I can exactly say that we never support UNP to form a government or to form become the Prime Minister to Ranil Wickremesinghe, because we have only 6 seats in the Parliament by 2015 election. So people voted us to sit in the opposition and make the voice on behalf of them. So they didn't vote for us to make a government and get the ministerial portfolios. So we obey the mandate and we keep the trust of the people.
I mean, it's not unheard of. Back during President Chandrika's time, the JVP briefly went into government with Madam Chandrika's members of the SLFP to form a government. So that is why I asked you this question.
No, that's right, but it's with the mandate of the people. By 2004 general election, we formed the coalition, and we faced that election with this coalition. So we made promises, certain promises to the people that we are going into the government and we will take some ministerial portfolios, and that's why we are going to develop the country, we are going to develop the agriculture. So that's according to the mandate. But in this time, we ask the people vote for JVP. I mean, we didn't ask people give the majority to make a government. But anyway, we expected, at that time we expected nearly 13-15 seats. Till the people give a chance to JVP to sit in the government, we are in the opposition, and we always try to correct the government on behalf of the people.
When do you think the people will give a chance to the JVP to come into government?
We expect soon. Otherwise, country can't go forward because of this severe debt, economic crisis, as well as this now it turns to the social crisis, political crisis. So to get rid of that, people will take the decision immediately. Otherwise, where are we going?
Now I asked you if you would join the UNP. Now I'm going to ask you, if the Prime Minister loses his no confidence motion and the SLFP decides to join with the UPFA bloc in the opposition and form a government, will you still serve in the opposition?
Yes, still.
Right.
Anyway, our decision is very much, I mean, it's very clear that we are not going to support either to UNP or to the SLFP or the joint opposition to make a government this time.
Right. Then let's go totally left field.
Yes.
The Prime Minister loses the no confidence motion, hypothetically.
Yes.
And then there is a call to dissolve Parliament. Now, as we know, according to the 19th Amendment of the Constitution, you can't, the President cannot dissolve Parliament until 4.5 years passes.
Yeah.
But there is an option where a motion is brought in through Parliament to dissolve Parliament and then go in for snap elections. Right? If such a motion is brought in, do you think the JVP will support that motion, and is the JVP ready for a general election this year?
Yes. Now we are ready for a general election, because by the result of the local government election, definitely we will increase our vote base as a number of seats. But you know that problem in the constitution, it's debatable. If the Prime Minister loses by the no confidence motion, can the President reshuffle the cabinet and make a
new government?
So it depends on the Supreme Court decision. Anyway, as a party, we are ready.
Now, usually, as you said just a bit ago, the JVP expected more seats during the last election. There was a lot of public support. We saw that public support being very vociferous. But when it comes time for the ballot, people usually change their minds. You don't see that same support that you see in the political rallies when it comes to the ballot box. I mean, for instance, even parliamentarian Sunil Hanunnetti, who did a great job in the COPE committee, as the head of the COPE committee, even he couldn't win his seat in Mathura. Am I correct?
Yes. What we can do as a party to change that. Actually, always we are thinking and we are planning to change the mindset of the people. But let's say during the local government election, we did everything what we can do, but at the last moment the people change their mindset. So now we are researching, we are analyzing the result, and we keep a trust on the people. They will change in near future, but if someone can propose us, these are the immediate solutions you have to take to change the mindset of the people. Yes, we can accept. We are ready to accept, but it's very much difficult to understand the mindset of the voters. All civilians during the elections, they are with us. They are the supporters of JVP, and they are very much appreciating our role in the parliament as well as in the political scenario. But
when it comes time for the ballot, there is a small issue. Anyways, we will talk more about the local government election as well, but before that we go in for a short commercial break.
Newsfirst, Newsline with Faraz Shaukatali.
Welcome back. This is Newsline. I'm Ramesh Irugalbandara, sitting in for Faraz Shaukatali. This morning our guest is JVP parliamentarian Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa. Now, Dr. Jayatissa, just before the break we were talking about the local government election, and you said something very interesting. You said the JVP is willing to listen to someone if they can give you what changes the party needs to make. What if, now Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe recently at an event said that Cambridge Analytica, that devised the data capturing program from Facebook, came forward to meet him and he turned him away. What if Cambridge Analytica came to the JVP?
No, I ask me again.
There was an incident where a company called Cambridge Analytica took data from Facebook in order to influence the American elections. That is the allegation. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe recently at an event said that Cambridge Analytica approached him to do the same for the local elections. Now you said that JVP is ready to get support, but will you do that?
We are ready to get the solutions and proposals from the genuine people and institutions who really like to develop the country, as who really wants to make a better society to the Sri Lankans, and not for
not for any other purposes. Anyways, so now this local government election result, was it a vote? Now we saw the Sri Lanka Podujana Party, the Flower Bud, performed very well during this election. So was this election result a reflection of the people's voice against the government, or the people's support for former President Mahinda Rajapaksa?
No, this result, when we analyze the result, the UNP lost nearly 1/3 of their votes when we compare the last general election as well. Anyway, we don't have any tool to compare the SLFP votes because last time they faced as the UPFA. Anyway, when we analyze that, this marks the opposition to the government of the people. That's why the two governing parties lost the faith of the people. And this opposition or the voice against the government went for the Pohot tour. That's why we like that. If the people, they want to really make a big voice against the government, they should have voted for JVP.
They should have voted for the JVP.
But anyway, the Mahinda Rajapaksa's new party is able to get more votes, but it's not much. I mean, it's nearly 42%. That's why this crisis rise in the local government bodies when they are appointing chairmen and vice chairs. Because if they won the votes, but comparatively
no one has a clear majority. We will get to that in just a bit, but before that I want to ask you, soon after the local government election results were released, your party General Secretary Tv1 Silva came out to the media and said this is a victory for the JVP.
Yeah.
Was this an actual victory for the JVP? Because didn't your numbers reduce?
No, in political analysis, we have to compare our votes and number of seats in one way with the last local government election held in 2011, and the other comparison with the 2015 general election. In 2011, actually this is very much, I mean, just after the war, so we got only 74 seats in all over the country. Now it increased up to 436. It's a big increase. Then when we compare it with the general election 2015, we are able to increase our vote base by 1,68,000. So just when we compare the UPFA increment, it is all nearly 2 lakhs. So just JVP and SLPP are the only two parties are able to increase their vote base. That's why our General Secretary and the party is saying, right, we are able to increase the number of seats as well as the vote base, but it's not much. No, it's not expected by the party as well as the general public. That's a problem.
So does this mean that the JVP is in favor of this local government election system that was brought in? Do you all like it?
Yes, we like it, because who wants the change of the electoral system? I mean, people, they need change of the electoral system, as they need a representative to their vote, as well they need to reduce the corruption. So that's why we make that preferential system as well as this vote representation. We have to develop certain technical points, but this is progressive as well as the favor of the democracy and anti-corruption, comparing the last electoral system.
But in hindsight, you see incidents taking place where there are many allegations when it comes to securing power, because as you said, both these parties do not have a clear majority in these local government bodies, and when it comes time to securing power, we hear allegations of bribes being given or money being transferred within hands in order to secure votes in local government bodies. So isn't this corruption?
No, we are living in a very much corrupted political scenario. Corruption started from the not the bottom, it's coming from up. So you know, the last 10 years, since 2005 to 15, corruption went in parallel to the government. So that's why people defeated them in 2 elections. So we have to change the society by step. Actually, what we see after the local government election, those corruption charges are not related to the electoral system. We can't change the corruption, we can't reduce the corruption by the electoral system. We have to start from the political culture.
Okay.
If we don't want to change the political culture, whatever the electoral system, the result is the same. It is preferential or the mixed system or any electoral system. We have to change, we have to start from the political culture. Otherwise, these people, they bribe and they corrupt anywhere and any place.
So you're basically saying whatever system is brought in, our people are smart enough to find the loopholes within this system.
Yes, why not?
Now, this is an election year. We have an expectation to hold the provincial council elections as their tenure expires at the end of this year. We do not know what will happen after the no confidence motion vote, but the expectation is that the provincial council elections
yes, anyway, now the election commission can announce the provincial council, because the delimitation process now is finished. It's report submit to the parliament. Now next step, the political parties have to agree to the delimitation. Then the commission can announce the provincial council election.
Do you think the JVP is ready for a provincial council election?
Yes, because we need another election before the general election, because by this electoral system we can introduce as well as we can form new leaders in certain regions. Then we can develop them to a national national level. So definitely we can increase our vote base as well. We can introduce a new set of leaders. So we are planning, and we have started already our organizing activities in the ground level.
Now the provincial councillors that are there now, they've started agitating. They've started a movement themselves, calling for the election to be held under the old system.
Yes.
Not the same method that was used for this local government election. What is the JVP stance? What system should be used to hold the provincial council elections?
We had a big debate in the parliament as well as outside to change the system. That's why we put forward that new electoral system. So what we experience, the loopholes in this system, we can change it. But we don't agree to put away the new system totally, because as I said before, this is a forward step comparing the last one. So we will make the amendments, but we don't want to put it outside and go for the previous one.
So you don't want to go back to the old system again?
Yes.
Right. Unfortunately, that's our time, Dr. Jayatissa. Thank you very much for joining us on Newsline this morning. That was JVP parliamentarian Dr. Nalindra Jayatissa joining us on Newsline this morning. I'm Ramesh Irugalbandara for News First. Take care and have a nice day.
News First, Newsline with Faraz Shaukat Ali.